So you might have heard that the Environmental Protection Agency is preparing new regulations on ozone. There are some things you should know about this rule because it could be the single costliest regulation in US history and have serious consequences for you and your family. Most people think of ozone as the ozone layer, but in this case, we're talking about ground level ozone. And ground level ozone is formed when certain types of gases interact with sunlight. It's both natural and man-made. Everything from power plants to factories to your car's tailpipe emit the compounds that produce ozone. Now, EPA has regulated ozone for decades under the Clean Air Act. In 2008, the agency declared that the current standard protects public health. But now, the agency is changing its tune and it's proposing a stricter standard. There are a few problems with that. First is that ozone has been dropping for years without a stricter standard from EPA. It's down 33% nationally since 1980. In fact, air pollutants like ozone have been dropping for decades before EPA and the Clean Air Act were ever created. In New York City, for example, sulfur dioxide dropped 58% in the 7 years before EPA was formed. The second problem is that the regulation that EPA is proposing isn't free. In fact, some estimates are saying that this rule could be the single costliest regulation in US history. The issue is that we've done such a good job reducing ozone over the last several decades, even before EPA was created, that any further reductions are extremely costly and would affect wide areas of the country. It's kind of like trying to squeeze water out of a rock. The proposed rule is so far-reaching that it could put places like Yellowstone National Park, where there's no industrial activity whatsoever, into non-compliance. If a national park can't meet EPA's mandate, it's hard to imagine what could. EPA's ozone rule means fewer jobs and opportunities for the American people. It means factories that were planning on expanding their operations and hiring more people might not be able to do so because even though they've been reducing ozone for years, the EPA says they're not doing it fast enough and now they're out of compliance. It also means more federal control over local land use for places that are out of compliance. And it couldn't come at a worse time. Manufacturing jobs are just now coming back to America. Now, those families are at risk of losing their jobs because of EPA's new rule. If history has shown us anything, it's that we can grow our economy and protect our environment at the same time. We don't have to choose between one or the other. But that's exactly what the EPA and the Obama administration are trying to do with their proposed ozone rule. The president seemed to understand this in 2011 when he withdrew a similar ozone proposal because he said he wanted to give the economy more time to recover. Well, the president was right to scrap the rule in 2011, and he should take his own advice and do away with it now. Then he can step aside and watch the American people continue to find creative ways to grow our economy and protect our environment without further mandates from EPA. That's the path to energy and environmental prosperity, and we hope it's one that the president embraces.